Today we're looking at the V3X 29 from Mathews Archery. Welcome back to Mike's Archery's YouTube, and today we are taking a look at the new 2022 lineup from Mathews, and we have got the new V3X 29 that we're taking a look at. Now these bows are made in the USA, right up there in Wisconsin, and we like that. Most of your major brands are, but we like to keep it in the USA if possible. That should help the supply chain issues that we've seen in the past, keeping these bows stateside, hoping to keep bows on the shelf all year long. Now we do want to preface this with a little bit of backstory. Now we took a lot of hassle over our video on the V327 last year, and frankly we did not like the draw cycle on that bow. It felt very bad to us. Now we noticed that Mathews did not come back with a bow that short this year. It is a 29-inch bow. So clearly maybe they heard that about their bow, that the draw cycle was not that great. We're going to stand behind that statement. It is our opinion. If you love that bow, great. I'm glad you do, but we did not. Now this 29 is a different story. So this year the specs on this bow are coming in at 340 feet per second with an axle to axle of 29 inches. The overall cam to cam length on this bow is 35 inches. Now the brace height is still at 6 inches, so it's a fairly short, very compact. It may be a little critical in the shot just because of the shortness of the bow and the low brace height, but overall a great feeling bow. And if you're looking for something that's extra short to still get in a tree stand, in a ground blind, not get in your way in those situations, then the V3X 29 is probably a bow you want to look at because it is below that 30-inch axle to axle mark and a really nice short bow. Now the factory weight on this bow is coming in at 4.47 pounds according to Mathews, and we threw that on the scale, and with the dampeners in it we got 4.6, and when we pulled those harmonic dampeners out it took it right down to 4.4 pounds, being right at spec weight. And we do like that because a lot of times we see a lot of these bow companies out there advertising a weight and they've stripped everything off there that they possibly can, and Mathews is being truthful in their weights and telling you that without a harmonic dampener this bow weighs 4.47 pounds, and that's what we are showing it. Now they did send us in a complete setup with all their new accessories and all their new technology, and we went ahead and threw that on the scale just so you know that if you get a completely outfitted Mathews with all their new integrated technology that they put into this and this slimline design, you're going to see this bow weighing 6.4 pounds. So a fully loaded outfit, now that's without arrows, but a fully loaded outfit with your quiver, your sights, your stabilizer, your rest, and all the goodies that you need on there is coming in at 6.4 pounds. And that's pretty impressive, really, and not a real bad weight on an overall setup. Now the draw length option on the 29 is going to top out at 30 inches, and it does get those little shorter draw lengths at 25.5. So if you're looking at the 33 and you're below a 27, you're probably not going to have an option there because it stops at 27 on the low end. The 29 goes all the way down to 25.5, but if you've got that longer draw past 30 inches, you're not going to be able to shoot this bow because with that switch weight technology and the modules on this bow, it only goes out to 30. Still gives a wide range, fitting most everybody out there. Now they did stay with that cross-centric cam with the switch weight technology design for this year. They redesigned the cam slightly, but they kept all the same module system that they've had in the past. Now that is something that we have looked at in the past with Mathews, and frankly it's not as easy a system as some of the other bow manufacturers out there. It does create an issue for the dealers having a lot of extra parts and modules to be able to fit everybody and to be able to get you set up properly with this bow and the past bows from this year. Now it's not something that you can't do on your own, but you still got to have the module to make it fit for you, and you're going to need to pick that up somewhere, whether it be at your dealer or online someplace. If you're wanting to change the draw lengths on this, you're going to need to grab the extra set of modules that you need to be able to move that around. Now that is the same for the weights. Now that is something that's a really cool technology about the cams that Mathews builds, because you can get all your let-off changes and your peak weight changes on this bow, as well as your draw length, all in just a simple module change, being able to keep this bow at a peak weight situation. So this bow is available with the proper mod configuration in a 60-pound max, a 65-pound max, a 70-pound max, and a 75-pound max weight, and you can change it from 80 or 85% let off with simply swapping out those modules on the cam. Now, some of the other technology that they've built into for this year is pretty interesting. Now, they've changed up a few things, and one of the main things that we noticed was the bridge lock sight technology. They've brought an improved balance with an integrated system there, moving your sight to the center of the riser and allowing you to slide a dovetail sight into the center of the riser of the bow, bringing everything more centered, more balanced, and also taking some vibration out in the process. It eliminates your bracket on the side of your bow, which is also going to allow you to use their new quiver system. Now, we did notice not every sight is going to fit into this slot. You still have the option of mounting any sight out there on the market conventionally, as you have for the last, I don't know how many years. But three of the mainstays, they've partnered with Excel with a Mathews branded version of this integrated sight, but you can also pick up a Spot Hog or an HHA. We're certain those are going to work. There may be some others out there. There may be some trial and error as to what else will fit and not fit in this, but those are the three that you can take a standard dovetail, slide right through the riser, lock that in place with the set screw, and be able to bring everything balanced and centered on this riser. Now, what that allows you to do, if you want to, is to use their 1 or 2 piece slimline design quiver. It's a LowPro fixed 2-piece or single quick detachable quiver mounting to the riser, but it brings everything in so much tighter, so much closer to the riser than you have seen in the past. Now, Tight Spot's done a great job with being able to move those quivers in and things, but this takes it probably an extra ½ inch closer to the riser and eliminating not only the sight bracket, but if you use the integrated rest system, you no longer have that rest mounted on the outside of the riser of the bow. Now, they still kept the conventional rest hole there that they've had, so if you want to use some other brand rest on there, you still have the opportunity to mount that rest right up and shoot whatever you want. But if you use the QAD integrated rest system, it's going to bring everything more centered on this Mathews and also allow you that quiver to come in so much tighter and bring your arrows in against it. The other thing we noticed is when you lay this bow down with that new quiver system, it's going to lay perfectly flat on any surface. And we like that. It shows that there's balance. It shows that there's evenness on the outside of that bow and that somebody put some thought into it. Because usually when you lay your bow down with the quiver down, it just doesn't sit right. But Mathews took the time to level everything out in this integrated system, bring everything in nice and tight and just very sleek and a great look on this new setup. Now, one of the other new technologies that they came up with was called the Stay Afield System. Now, what that is a standard bow can be taken in these two, either the 29 or the 33, and they make an extra string. It's going to allow you to work on this bow in the field or at home without a bow press. All you're going to need to do is take this bow, crank out the limb bolts 4 turns, taking it down from peak weight, and then you can pull your string off to the side of your string stop, pull down on that string, taking the tension off of it, and then looping in this system onto the cams. Now, once you've done that, it takes enough tension off those cams, rolling it forward to allow you to remove this string and to work on it. Now, if you need to put a peep in at home or to work on something else, let's say you've cut a string and you need to change your own string, if you pick up one of the Stay Afield systems, you're going to be able to do this by yourself and change out your string and do any work on your bow. Now, you can do the same thing with the cables, but you're probably going to want to grab a friend to help you with that. Now, the knobs for the cables are on the inside. You're still going to want to take 4 turns off your limbs, but then getting a hold of both cables and pulling down on those to attach that is going to require an extra hand. So you're going to need a buddy around, but it's nice to know that you can change your strings and cables out on this bow. If something were to happen on a hunt in a remote area where you're not able to work on it or get to a shop, you're going to be able to take an extra set of strings and cables with you on those trips and have the confidence of knowing that you can work on this bow and be right back up if something unforeseen happens that could keep you and knock you out of a hunt. Now, some of the same technology that they've had in the past remains on this bow. If you're looking at the Silent Connect system is still an add-on that you can throw in between the limbs. It's going to allow you to raise and lower your bow in and out of a tree stand situation in a silent manner and not have to hook onto your cams or string, possibly causing damage to those parts of your bow. And that's a nice add-on that Mathews has kept for this year. One of the other things that they have kept is that ergonomic, slim, rubberized grip that they've had in the past. It's got a really good feel to it, nice and warm to the touch, being rubberized and textured. Also, it's nice and slim, taking the torque out of the shot and being a comfortable grip sitting right in your hand and feeling good through the shot. Now, from the factory, Mathews has always kept harmonic dampeners somewhere on their bow. That does not change with that little piece that sticks out at the lower part of the riser. It's giving better balance to the riser and also taking vibration out, as it has for many years with those harmonic dampeners. They also come standard from the factory with Mathews Zebra Twist strings, which is a high quality string, and they include the monkey tails already on there. And in the past, Mathews has been one of the quietest bows we have shot and tested. I feel that's going to continue with the new V3X series, as they include all these harmonic dampeners, monkey tails, and other technology built into this bow that just takes shock, vibration, and noise out of the shot. They also remained with their angled roller cable guard, which is something they've had for the last few years. Gives a nice smooth feel with that roller guard, keeping the cables out of the way and angled down so the center of that cable pull is right behind your rest and more centered on the riser of the bow. It makes an accurate and better platform to shoot with. They also continued with the front and rear stabilizer holes, low on the riser on the back, so if you need to weight this bow up to get a proper balance for your setup, that's still available with plenty of options to add weights to the riser and get a good balance and feel for you. So Mathews did come with one new color for this year, and it is this new granite that they've sent our bows in. It's a great looking color, but it's also available in 8 total standard colors. Not only the granite, but you can still get this bow in black or the green ambush, as well as a Realtree Edge if you like a camo pattern. And they also have 4 other camo patterns available in the Optifade Elevated 2, Optifade Subalpine, as well as Under Armour All Season, or the First Light Spectre. Now you can mix and match some of that in their custom shop, getting the limbs decked out with a different riser color and making a customized look for whatever it is that you want to make this bow look like. Now the price point on this bow is coming in at an MSRP of $11.99 and an advertised price of $1,099. So it's right there with everybody else's flagship bow, and you're going to be spending right around that $1,200 mark when you look at any of the new flagship bows from anyone, and Mathews is right there with them. From here, we're going to step over to the range. We're going to take a few shots out of this bow. Now, because this was one of the first ones to hit the shop, and we did not have a mod to change it out, we're going to be shooting this on a little different setup than we normally have in the past. It's going to be a 28-inch draw length at 70 pounds with the 85% let off and shooting a 400 grain arrow. So we stepped over here to the lane. We've got the V3X 29, and we're going to be shooting this over the chronograph. So a little different this time because we didn't have the mods available. We're going to be shooting this bow on 28 inches. Now everything else is still going to be the same as our normal testing, 70 pounds with a 400 grain arrow and shooting this bow on 85% let off. So we're expecting it to probably be, if you went to that normal spec, about 4, maybe 5 feet a second faster than what we're normally getting at 28 inches. You should see at 29. So keep that in mind. This is going to be somewhere between 3 to 5 feet a second slower than what our normal testing would have shown. So let's take a shot over the chrono and just see what this gives us for speed and noise rating. So the speed rating on that's 301, and we saw that even when we shot the 33, but this being an inch shorter at 28-inch draw, I would expect that to be somewhere around 305, 306 if we move that back up to our normal spec of 29 inches. But overall, a great speed. This shorter bow is IBO'd a little faster than the 33, and you're seeing it. It's getting a few feet a second faster out of it, but still at a great feel. Now the noise rating, and Mathews has always been one of the quietest bows that we've tested. This one's coming in at 93.3, and when you shoot a Mathews, it is noticeably quieter than everybody else's bow when you shoot it, and the decibel reading is showing that to us. So overall, Mathews is continuing this year with a really good speed out of this bow, but most of all, a very quiet bow when you shoot it. Now, unlike the 27 from last year, the draw curve on the 29 is considerably better. It's a nice smooth rollover, and with that 85% let off, it rolls right into it. It doesn't stack up real bad on the top end. It actually has a great draw cycle on it and a good feel through that draw cycle. Now when you get to full draw, it has a rock solid back end. And with being a cable stop and not a limb stop, some of these companies the last few years have been getting a great rock hard back wall out of a cable stop, and Mathews has done it again for this year. So if you're looking for something that you can just stand on that back wall and get off a great shot that's consistent, Mathews has got a rock hard back wall in this cam system when you get the full draw. Now the aftershot feel on this bow, Mathews has been known for dead in the hand. They were one of the first to do it, and it continues in the V3X models. It is extremely dead in the hand, sits very solid, doesn't move a little bit. It is top heavy, but we see that out of most of the Mathews, so it's a little top heavy, so you might want to balance this thing out depending on your situation. But overall, a great feel out of the new V3X series, and even out of this shorter axle-to-axle 29-inch bow. It's not something that I personally like, because I like a longer axle-to-axle bow where I'm 6'2" and 29.5-inch draw, but this has got a great feel at that shorter axle-to-axle, and a major improvement from what we saw out of that 27 from last year. So if you're looking for a brand new Mathews and you want to step in to one of the new V3X series, give us a call here at Mike's Archery and we'll get you set up with one.